Hello and I welcome you all to Global News Factory. I'm your host Vikrant. Thursday, July 31st, the day the mighty American F-35 program nosedived twice. Once in the literal sense and once in India. Let's start with the crash. Somewhere near a California naval station, an F-35 jet decided it had had enough. It dropped from the skies and crashed in a field. No confirmed cause yet, but give it time. A US official will soon go on record whispering something about Russian interference, electronic warfare, or maybe Putin hacked gravity. But the real crash happened thousands of miles away in India. The much hyped F 35 deal, the one the US had been begging India to sign, just crashed and burned. Bloomberg has reported that the multi-billion-dollar F-35 fantasy has now officially been ghosted by New Delhi. And you know what triggered it? Trump's 25% tariff on India. Yes, Orange Man thought he was being clever, slapping tariffs to fix the trade gap. But what he did not see coming was India's countermove. Instead of playing along, India chose to cut the drama and the deal. No F-35s, no thank you. The report says that India has formally informed the US that it is no longer interested in buying those overpriced flying divas. This was part of Trump's offer during Modi's February visit to the US, but Delhi's response is sharp. We want partnership, not dependency. India now wants to co-design and co-manufacture military hardware domestically, and honestly, that's a smart move. Here is the financial twist. Cancelling the F-35 deal may have saved India up to $2 trillion over the aircraft's operational lifetime. Yep, you heard that right. Trillion with a T. These jets are high maintenance, require an entire ecosystem of American tech dependency and guzzle defense budgets like a black hole. But what is next now for India? The answer is Putin. Yes, Vladimir Putin is coming to India later this year for the annual bilateral summit, and topping the agenda will be fighter jets. But not the American ones, Russian ones. Russia is now offering India a blockbuster dual package deal, the Sukhoi 35M and the 5th generation Sukhoi 57E. And this time it is not just about buying planes. Moscow wants to co-produce these jets in Maharashtra, the state of India, with the potential to include Indian manufacturing of core components. The Sukhoi 57E, for those unaware, is Russia's stealth-capable beast, the export version of its 5th generation Sukhoi 57. India had earlier pulled out of the deal, the 5th generation fighter aircraft program with Russia, but now Moscow is back with a better deal. And it does not stop there. Russia has also offered to discuss a joint production deal for the S-500 air defense system, Russia's latest anti-missile shield, capable of taking down hypersonic threats, that's big, satellites, and pretty much anything that can fly. Let that sink in. Russia is offering India exclusive access to military tech it has not shared with any other country on this planet, not even China, not Iran, not even Belarus. Because trust. Ties between Russia and India go way back, long before BRICS was even born. The bond is old school and has held strong through sanctions, wars, and regime changes. And now, when it matters the most, India and Russia are doubling down. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Trump had a meltdown. In a bizarre rant, he lashed out at India for buying Russian defense gear, but India's answer was subtle and devastating. Thanks, but we are not interested in renting democracy at 25% markup. The F-35 deal was always about keeping India tied to American war machine, but India has chosen sovereignty over dependency and self-reliance over sweet talk. So, what do we call this? A turning point, a loud, clear message. India is no longer in the market for overpriced toys. And for Trump, he can scream, he can tweet, or cry into his golden pillow. The so called dead economy of India just delivered a multi-billion-dollar shock to the American military industrial complex. Wow. This, dear viewers, is just the beginning. There is more on the horizon. I will be reporting more interesting stories from India today. Stay tuned for that. Because while the F 35s crash and burn, India's defense diplomacy is just taking off. And moving on now, Western media is back to fabricating fairy tales. This time the headline goes like this: India stops buying Russian oil. Trump's threats are working. Cute, but also completely false. Let's clear the fog. Yes, India's state refiners have not placed new orders for Russian crude in the past week. But no, it has nothing to do with Trump's tariffs or sanction threats. Zero connection. The reason is boringly simple. Russian oil is not cheap right now at this moment. The whole reason India became a top buyer of Russian oil was because of deep discounts. India's refiners do not care about Western tantrums, they care about common sense economics. If Russian barrels are not offering a fat discount, they simply look elsewhere. That is exactly what is happening this week. Russian oil demand is heating up, especially from China and other parts of Asia. Naturally, the discounts have narrowed. Russian barrels are no longer the best deal in town, at least for the moment. For this week, for this couple of weeks maybe. So what does India do? Like any smart shopper, it shifts to spot markets, quick buys, flexible prices, no long-term commitment. And right now, India is scooping up Middle Eastern grades like Abu Dhabi's Murban crude and West African oil because that is what makes economic sense. And here is the kicker, this is not new. This back and forth has been happening for over 2 years now. Every time Russian discounts fluctuate, India adjusts. It's a normal market move, not a political shift. Let's rewind to December last year when exactly the same thing happened. November last year, India's imports of Russian oil dropped 55%, the lowest since the Ukraine war began. Was that because of some White House press release? Or tariff drama? Nope. Same reason, prices and discounts. So this is not geopolitical alignment, it is just basic supply and demand logic. India's oil policy is simple. It will buy oil from wherever it is cheapest. It is not a secret. India's Energy Minister Hardeep Singh Puri literally said this out loud and very clearly. Watch this.
We will buy from wherever we can. Our commitment is to the Indian consumer. And if there is an international agreement at any point of time that a particular kind of sale should or should not take place, so far the American position was and has been that you should buy Russian oil within a price cap. And we've been buying within a price cap. So beyond that, I don't think we need to go because that is the situation. By the way, if people or countries had stopped buying at that stage, the price of oil would have gone up to $130 a barrel. That was the situation in which we were advised, including by our friends in the United States, to please buy Russian oil, but within the price cap. So I think your line of questioning, if I may point out to you, does not seem to be taking that very crucial factor into consideration.
So no amount of media propaganda is going to change that, sorry. Western media sitting in Washington and Brussels might be eager to cook up Trump scared India theory, but on the ground, in India's energy corridors, nobody is even looking in that direction. Also, India has not stopped buying Russian oil. There is no ban, no official order, no sanctions compliance, the taps have not been turned off. It's a pause based on prices. The moment discounts return, the orders will too. So, to Western media, try harder next time. Maybe write fiction, at least then you don't have to pretend it is real. And that is all for now. Stay tuned for more updates from GNF.